your favorite books is both pleasure and agony. It can be hard to narrow down, but then you get to ruminate on all the amazing things you've read. So I think it balances out in pleasure's favor. At the end of last year, I did a favorites list for the entirety of 2013, which I enjoyed a lot, and was kind of sad that I only got to do that once a year. Then I just recently watched a video by Maggie Bookshelf, where she broke down her favorite books of the first quarter of 2013, so that's January, February, and March. And I was like, I want to do that. So inspired by Maggie Bookshelf, link to her channel below, and only a tad bit late, here are my top 10 favorite books of winter 2014. Starting at number 10, we have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, the first in the YA Fantasy Grisha series. This is one of the first books I read in 2014, and it was a lovely way to start off the year. I'm looking forward to digging into more of this series this summer. At 9, and read in January, we have Rome by Jay Crownover. This is the third book of the Marked Men series, and my favorite. If you like romance, you'll probably like all of this new adult series, but just know that you're in for a treat when you hit book number 3. Locking in at number 8, and read in February, we have Clockwork Princess, the third and final book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. I loved all 3 books in this series, but I'm absolutely in love with the ending of this book. Then at number 7, and read in January, we have Simple Jess by Pamela Morsi. This is the second book in the Marrying Stone romance series. I have not read any other books in this series, and I'm not sure if I ever will. This is just supposed to be the best of the series, and it's easily a standalone book. This is a historical romance. It is set in the Ozarks. The hero is amazing. An accident at birth has left him with some brain damage, and the small town of Marrying Stone calls him Simple Jess. He's a deep, complex character that I've never seen before as the lead in a romance story. At number 6, we have a nonfiction book, Why Evolution is True by Jerry Coyne. I actually started this in 2013, but didn't finish up until January of this year. Jerry Coyne is a biology professor from University of Chicago, and he's a great writer. I'm big into trying to learn the basics of all the different scientific fields, and he's thorough while still keeping everything from falling into overly dry language. True story, Jerry Coyne's specialty at the University of Chicago is evolutionary genetics, particularly as they involve Drosophila, that's the fruit fly. Imagine trying to explain your day. Yeah, I watched a bunch of flies procreate all day and took copious notes. Number 6, read in February, My Lady Quicksilver by Beck McMaster, the third book in the London Steampunk series. I talk about this romance series all the time as it's one of my favorites. There's a lot of really poorly done steampunk romance books, but this series is really excellent. 3 books have been released. 4th one comes out in September, and I'm super stoked. I pre-ordered it for my Kindle. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater comes in at number 4 and was read in January. I'd read some Maggie Stiefvater in the past and had only been mildly meh about her, but this book is divine. I also read the second book, which is also divine, and now I have to wait all the way to October for the third. Moving into the top 3, we have Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead, the third book in the Paranormal YA Vampire Academy series. I read this in January. I really liked the first 2 books in the series, but this book just floored me. I was kind of overcome. That's when I know a book is really good, when I'm not just, wow, that was good, I'm glad I read that. But that was an ecstatic experience. I will have the moment of finishing this book seared in my mind forever. And at number 2, we have Wait For You, finished in February. It's written by Jay Lin, the new adult pen name of Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book is just this book. Since then, I've read quite a few new adult books, and I know the basic plot tends to remain the same among a large majority of them, but Jennifer L. Armentrout, I think, does the plot the best. In some ways, this book is still ruining my life, as I judge most other romance books as lacking in comparison to this one. Finally, drumroll, my favorite book of winter 2014 is Cress by Marissa Meyer, the third book in the YA sci-fi series The Lunar Chronicles. Now, book 1, Cinder, made it to number 4 on my 2013 favorites list. It is a damn good book, magnificently good, and number 2 was also very likable, but Cress just blows them both out of the water. It's kind of terrifying. Marissa Meyer's skill at writing just gets exponentially better. When the fourth book, Winter, comes out next year, I may need to take time off to recover. That's my top 10. Fill me in below on what you liked, how you'd rearrange this list, what you'd put on, what you'd yank off, all the details, if you please.